When do you usually use a scrappy binding?
There's a couple different instances. If I can't find something that I love for the binding, I'll take my leftovers and try and make so that it blends nice and looks cute.
Because sometimes we finish quilts, like 6 years after we buy them.
Exactly.
And it might not match anymore.
Yeah.
That never happens. We'd make them the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do that. Or if you like love your quilts, or not your quilt, the fabric in your quilts, and you can't pick just one, I will make a scrappy binding. Or if I have a lot of leftover pieces and I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I'll just chop it up into binding.
Yeah.
And make it that way. So we're going to demo how to do a scrappy binding. Let me add.
And I did a scrappy one on my pillow.
Yes, you did. And I forgot to tell you to.
Kind of made it look fit with the kind of.
If you don't know, we're talking about the, if you watched Comments Sold last week, we did the leaf tossed pillow. And it had those cute little 4 leaves in it. And then the binding was scrappy binding. And it pulled all the colors in.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have created this little quick.
She did good, huh?
Yeah, I made this today.
That could be a placemat.
Well, I figured
a table topper.
For Kyle asked if we had any quilts for those of you ladies that are coming at Tug to sit on for the picnic thing. So I thought maybe this could be a little picnic quilt party of one. Tiny bum.
I love it.
I was gonna give it to Kyle. I'm like, you sit here. I don't know if she'll like that as much. But so let's go over to the cutting area. We'll walk very slowly so as to not make you ill. And Christy's saying she doesn't have enough fabric from that 5-year-old UFO. Yeah, that's how we roll.
Yep.
I've gotten smarter. I've started buying backs. So as I'm buying the front.
I don't know which one you want. So
I don't either. So this is not my best work, but I used stuff I already had cut up behind my desk. I'm just going to make a quick scrappy binding. Let's see. This is 13 by 12 and a half. So 26 and 24. I'm going to need about 60 inches of binding. So if I got like 5 or 6 colors, and I'm just going to, I tend to do 2.5. Do you do 2.5 or do you do 2 1/4?
I like 2.5.
I do too. I tried the 2 1/4 route for a while. It was not my favorite. I will do 2 3/8 if I want it a little bit tighter, but I like that extra.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show the Stripology ruler. This is one of my favorites, and this is kind of hard to see on this black thing, so I apologize. But I'm going to line this up here. So my fabric, I've folded it in half. This is terrible. I'm sorry, ladies. I need like a
flashlight.
I don't know if you can see, but there's a line right there. And then I have a 0 right here. So this is just going to quickly give me a squared up straight edge. And then I'm going to go to my 2.5. And what's nice about this is all the squares are increments. There's a little square on here, and then there's a star of 2.5. And there's instructions on how to cut by the 1/4 and also the half. I'm not always the smartest. So
sometimes you don't want to think either.
Yeah, so I can just mindlessly cut those really quickly. Need a few pieces.
Should we cut these down a little?
No, they're fine. I'll just fold them in half.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to line this up on this straight line this way. And I'm just lining my fold up along that. And then I'll cut 2.5 and 5. And that's probably all I'm going to do because I don't need that many pieces. Let's do that one will work. Oh, I see what you mean by cutting them.
Yeah, it was big. It was a biggie.
That was a big one. These are actually pretty straight from the kit team. Good job, ladies. And I'm going to line that up again. And then I'll find my 0. What I love about this is it just quickly squares it up. So you don't have to have several tricks for that, but this is the easiest one. So I got 2 pieces out of that. And that should probably be about enough. And make sure you push hard enough that it actually cuts your fabric. Okay, any questions? Copyright that project idea, picnic queen part, one little bum.
I love that, Sharon.
Debbie's asking why I do 2.5 instead of 2 1/4. It's just a personal preference. It depends on how thick you like your binding, how straight you sew, how big your seam allowance is. I've found that mine is pretty scant, or no, pretty generous. And so I tend to just like it a little bit bigger. All right, so to join my bindings edge to edge, I always go on the bias. So I'm going to line those two up there, and then I'm just going to draw a straight line. If you have you're right.
Just say yeah.
Yeah. Find that out.
I've done that before.
I actually.
I wonder how many of you guys have ever done that.
Here, do I need to go like that?
Make a square instead of a.
I will generally leave a little bit of an overhang, and then
That way you don't have to guess.
Yes. If you have like that diagonal seam tape, you don't really need this, or if you have the laser guide on your machine, or if you just find that eyeballing a 2 and a bit inch. Otherwise, if you want to be really fussy, just draw a 45-degree line from there to there, and we're going to sew on that line, which you can't see, but that's okay. If you're nervous about it, pin it, because I did it wrong again. Didn't I?
No, you did it right.
No, I did it wrong.
Did you do it wrong?
I did it wrong.
You did do it wrong.
We want to go this way.
I didn't catch it that time. I did the other.
I always double check before I go, just to make sure.
Yeah, just hold a finger on there and go
Yeah.
with the direction and see if it really works for you sometimes.
There, that line you can see. Okay, so now I'm going to sew on that line, and it's going to flip open, and then I'll have this cute little Scrappy.
It'll be perfect.
All right, so I have found if you come around this side and hold the computer up from
Okay.
behind, that'll give you the
I
best.
can.
Debbie's getting a baptism by fire camera work.
I might try not to jiggle too much. Although I ran into a wire, I almost went down.
You can just set it down.
Okay.
Then you don't have to hold it. Okay. I know you really can't see what I'm doing here, but basically I'm just sewing a straight line from edge to edge. And what's nice is I've got the Baby Lock Altair, and it has a laser beam. You probably can't see that, but there is a little red laser beam that those of us that are too lazy to draw lines or whatever will use. And of course, Barb has it without the pamphlet pedal on, so I have to sew with my fingers. Stop! Ah! Okay, so I've done that, and we're gonna do another one. How many? Another blue. That'll work. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna overlap about 1/4 of an inch on either side. I'm gonna sew on that line because that's the way I want it to go. Or that would make these go opposite. If I don't want to do that, then I need to put this one down. That's what we need to do. And I'll go that way. So whatever was on the bottom is now going to be on the top. So that they're all going the same direction. And really that probably doesn't matter as much if your quilt was bigger, but where this is a little thing, it might look kind of weird. So
Doing it the other way would probably make it more scrappier.
true.
But we all have our own preferences, right?
Yeah, I think I'm fussy enough that I probably want them all going in the same direction. And let's just please bless that I did this right. Ta-da!
Yay.
So I've got,
Looks good.
we're patriotic today. Got a red one. What's nice is I do have a little bit of selvage going on here. I could cut it off, but okay, so if you were on the bottom, now you're going to be on the top. And I'm going to overhang that selvage to the edge so it's not going to show up on my thing. And then we'll just double check that if I sew it that way, it's doing what I want it to. I always love when I have binding that's the same color, like say all black, and then I sew half of them wrong. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yes.
That's when I know I'm winning. I'm usually on the phone and my mom's like, oh good, you made a mistake too. All right. So that's probably enough for a minute. I will press these open and trim them off. And I probably will just finger press. We have, let's come over here.
I don't know. Do you want me to plug the iron in?
Nah, we'll just do finger press.
Okay.
Okay, Tana, you have to rewatch Chris's binding thing every time you do it. Yeah. She taught me that trick, and I was like, where have you been my whole life? I used that stupid ruler, which never actually worked, other than it would give me in the right direction.
I bought the ruler.
I have 3 of them. Donna, I know. I'm sad too. Okay, so I'm just going to finger press these open. We could, well, actually, yeah, plug in the iron because we're going to want to iron the binding. Duh.
Okay, I was thinking that, but I was.
Debbie's my little whipping boy over here. Go get me this. Plug in the iron.
I'm happy.
Thread my machine.
I can do it.
Sorry, I have Chinese food breath.
I do too.
I liked Mallory. She doesn't have a sense of smell. Because it always seems like after lunch. Okay, so I've pressed those open, and then we're just going to press that in half. I know some people don't press their bindings in half. We had a
Really?
Yeah, Mary never did.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So if you're comfortable with that, go for it. But I do like to press my bindings in half. But look how cute that little scrappy binding is.
When I was first learning, sometimes I wouldn't catch one of the seams, so I like it pressed
Yeah,
sharp and crisp and
make sure
together.
you can know what you're doing.
Yep. Did I not turn it on?
Oh, you did. I'm just bringing it over here. Then we don't have to move the computer.
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's hot. That's hot. I'll actually press those because my finger didn't really work very well. Never
I'm
does.
not a good finger presser.
Me neither. Need Julia's fingers. Okay, and then I will just press that in half.
And that's where the binding ease comes in.
That's true. We could have
We have
demoed
tools. Yeah.
about 7 things here today.
Yes.
I did finally buy one of those. They're pretty slick. But hey, I never actually bind anything.
We laugh because we really try hard. We just get one project almost done and then move on to the next one.
We'll just, that's good enough. I cut it. It trimmed it. It's fine.
It's
Okay.
quilted.
Exactly. And Debbie and I both quilt. So it's just one more dang step you got to do.
Yep.
All right. So we got that going. I'm going to move back to the machine. Sorry.
Mhm.
You're going to get your steps in helping me.
I'm glad
I don't
to.
think I made this quite big.
Okay, we're going to move, ladies.
I'm going to hurry and do one more.
Going to add one more strip.
Mhm.
That one over there.
Adding one more strip because I didn't quite make it long enough. Better to do it now than after, though. I painted my nails this weekend.
Nice.
I know, I haven't done that for a while. So I'm just going to hurry and press that open. And I'm sure the people that have to edit these are like, Jenny, why are you not in the camera? But
You
that's
all know what we're doing, right?
okay. Come on. Iron.
Jenny's pressing.
Done. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now I am going to start. And I usually, when you start a binding, where do you always start? I always start like bottom right corner.
I kind of do in the middle of one of my longer sides.
Okay.
So,
That's what I do too. And
yeah.
generally leave about a 6-inch to 12-inch tail.
Yes.
Just your own personal preference.
It seems like if you leave it too short, I'd rather have it too long than too short.
Yes. And I will bump my stitch length up to probably about a 3, just because you are sewing through 2 layers of fabric as well as 4 layers of fabric plus the batting.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just hope I can do this. And there is one thing that I always forget to do. Oops, wrong button. If you want, you can quickly go around and make sure you're not going to have any of your joints ending up in the corner. because I always seem to do that. So far, so good. Okay, I think we're fine. All right, so I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam. And I sew this on fairly generously because I don't like to miss. I am sewing with my finger. If I was Barb, I'd have my Annie's stiletto, but I'm not.
I've never used a stiletto.
I've watched her, and it's kind of amazing. Okay, that's
Wow.
here. Stop.
I hate when it doesn't stop when you want it to. It's like, listen.
And then to do a mitered edge, so I stopped a 1/4 inch from the corner, and then I'm just going to fold this up at a 45 degree and then fold it back down at a 90 degree. My nose is itchy. Allergies. What's that thing? Is it a commercial? Repeat after me. Allergies.
I haven't seen that
Sending
one.
your kid back to school. I'm not sick.
Yeah, nowadays, you never know.
I get fall allergies bad.
I get them bad in the winter,
In the winter?
and I don't know why.
It's the cold, dry air.
Maybe that's it.
Okay, again, I'm stopping a 1/4 inch out. I'm pulling my needle up. Just going to pull that out.
Alice would like to know more about the stitch length.
Okay, so you can leave it at your whatever at 2 or 1.5. It's just if you make a mistake, your stitches are teeny tiny, and having to unpick that is not as fun, especially through this many layers. So I like to your stitch length just looks better, lays flatter. If you have issues, it's easier to unpick. If you bump it up just 1 or 2 points, it's kind of a personal preference, and it depends on your machine.
And I think you have a little bit more drag too with that many layers, so it makes
Yeah.
it even smaller than normal.
That's true. So just bumping up your stitch length just a little bit just makes your machine happier, and you happier if you have to unpick.
Yeah.
Speed that up.
Hopefully you never have to do that.
Never have to unpick. So I'm stopping at a 1/4 inch. I did it. Getting better with my fingers.
Yay.
And then 45 degrees up and 90 degrees flat against there. And I realize you guys can't see this, but Chris does have a really good binding thing in the club. I'm just showing you what a scrappy binding looks like.
I think it really is fun.
It is. I like scrappy bindings.
I do too.
They're usually just more work. The only reason I don't do them all the time. And I ended up with blue on blue, but that's okay because I'm not that fussy. So I just flipped it. And you can back stitch this point. I usually do. Do you?
I do. I think it holds better when you're hand stitching it down.
Okay. Cut my thread. I haven't sewn for a while. I'm forgetting how these machines work, even though I own one. Okay. So now I got to join my tails. And we're going to come over here because this is my favorite trick that Chris taught me. Did you know this trick?
Yeah.
So whatever width your binding is,
I do know that trick.
so if you have cut a 2.5 inch binding, the easiest thing to do is just cut off a little piece like this. But if it's 2 1/4, it needs to be 2 1/4. And what you're going to do is just kind of meet your 2 pieces in the middle. And I'm going to put that right there. And I wish I had scissors, but I don't. Because heaven forbid our classroom. So I'm cutting that right there. Oh, Debbie found me some. Okay, and then this piece, just make sure it's the right length before you go crazy. Am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do it minus 1/4, a little bit.
You do?
Uh-huh.
I never have. Is that why mine are always too big?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just
That minus
a little
just-
scant.
Yeah.
Minus.
Scant minus 1/4. And yeah.
So I've got my 2 ends right here, and all I'm going to do is open those up. Make sure I'm going in the right direction so that my things are, yep. So this one's going to be on the bottom. If you make them too tight, that's how I unpick.
Let that out of your room.
And then we're just going to do that. And I am going to probably pin this just so I don't screw up. They're over here.
Hand somewhere.
This one, I'm sure I am not showing you the easiest way to do this, but again, like I said, Chris has done this very well on a tutorial. I'm just going to pin them in the direction that I'm supposed to sew. And then I will just sew corner to corner right there. Just sit tight and talk to Debbie so she doesn't have to move the computer again.
Talk to me.
Yep. Go through the comments.
Hi, Peggy. I haven't seen you forever either. I'll kind of. It's a pink silicone.
The binding uses the
Hold on,
pink
come, let's
silicone
hold
things,
this.
right?
Yes, the pink silicone. Yes, the binding ease is from a Utah company. Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it has little holes. You just kind of scoot your.
So ta-da!
Yay!
And actually, I didn't get those going the right way, but we'll get to see. So I joined my two ends, cut them the width, plus a little tiny scant, and then I just sewed from corner to corner, corner to corner.
Did that work better for you?
I think it did, actually. Thanks
Yeah,
for that tip.
Of course.
So and
Glad to
then
help.
I'll just sew this down, and we'll pretend like I already did that. But like, look how fun this is going to be. Well, here I'm going to pin it so we can get a better.
You can iron it out.
Yeah. So now if I flip that over and I can sew this down and it's going to be this cute, fun, where's our little binding clips? Scrappy binding for Kyle's picnic quilt for a tiny bum. Party of one. One cheek.
There we go.
One cheek.
Ta-da! One cheek.
One cheek.
Oh, how funny.
And then one little trick that my aunt taught me, whatever is on the top or the bottom on this side, you actually want it to be the opposite on the other side. So this piece is on the top on this miter. So when you come over to here, you want it to be on the bottom. And then this just folds. That one is on the top. Not that you can really see that, but that is how I...
Makes it lay flatter.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That was a good trick
That's
from my Aunt Wendy.
That is a cool.
So again,
tip.
Case, of course I have to keep picking the ones that don't. None of these corners. Oh, this will work. So if I fold this over, I don't know if you can see that very well, but with my miter, this is on the bottom, this folds on the
It's
top.
hard to see.
I know, it's too dark. So
It's like,
it'll
is there
show it better
something?
on the red.
Yes.
So this piece was on the bottom. So that's actually what I'm going to lay flat first. And then the piece that was, I did that. I explained that. Okay. This one was on the top. So it's going on the bottom. And then this one was on the bottom and it's going to be on the top to make that miter. And then ta-da, it's pretty cute. Not bad for an hour.
Good.
I was like, I'll be right back. I gotta go charge my computer. And then like an hour later, I came down. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then it was lunchtime. And
So we got one more. Do you have a red corner still?
that's fine. I'm
you
just
did it.
gonna show them the scrappy finish. Don't burn yourself on that iron.
I'm trying not to. But.
And that's kind of a cute little. Here, I'll have you hold this.
I was going to say.
We're gonna go over here. We can hold it up from a
Okay.
distance. Yeah. Okay. So look how cute. Just a little fun, scrappy. I think it adds to the flavor of this little patchwork thing. And ta-da. And it is just a cute little table topper. I think these are 3-inch blocks. So they finished at 2.5.
Cute.
No, they're 3.5. They finished at 3. And
That's
it was
what I
just,
would have guessed. But
if you were here for November, we did, I think Dewani ended up with the quilt, the Veterans Day quilt. I had a bunch of extra squares left over behind my desk. So I just hurried and sewed them up.
so cute.
Thank you. Okay. That's really all I've got for us today. Let me go through and read the commercials.
The commercials.
The comments. Wow, it's like a Monday today and it's only Tuesday. Okay.
Hopefully the whole week isn't like that.
Let's see. Yeah, Alyssa says she couldn't do without pressing. Tana, same. I usually get it on and then I stop sewing about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Or 5 feet before it's done. Okay, stitch length we explained. Binding ease, and we should have those on the site.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
I know we have some.
We love Debbie. She's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think I see any questions. So yeah,
no
this
questions?
would be a fun checkerboard. And it would be a good little afternoon project for the kids or the grandkids or
definitely
just to practice your skills. It's always a lot less daunting to practice binding on something small.
Yes.
So, but I think it's pretty cute.
I think it's darling.
I really am going to give it to Kyle.
Tell her here's her picnic quilt.
Yeah. Here, I got you a picnic quilt because she emailed us over the weekend. I don't know. Thought it would be funny.